about coding rules. So there is, I think, some information now you already know, but anyway, it would be interesting to talk about. So first, I will share my screen. You are already on your side?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So screen sharing started. Okay. So if I have network issues, let's what is this thing? Okay. So coding rule. So it's just a big word, but it's just some rules. It's better to continue to follow these rules. And there is not a lot of things. Just same way of coding. Just to have a common way of coding on some recommendation in order to don't fail again on your side on the same issue we met ourselves. And notably the first one was very in relation with JavaScript language. On our side, we discover this language when this middleware project was starting. So at the beginning, we meet some issue and we take time in order to well understand what happened. So just to share with you this thing. On the main thing is this one. So don't take useless risk with this keyword. So this is a keyword in JavaScript language, but its scope is not exactly the same as what we can have with Java language or C++ language. So what is the rule? Take care to the JavaScript keyword this. So really avoid the use of this keyword into the core implementation of a function. And it's more safe to declare a self attribute with as for example this following example. So in fact, for example here we declare a kind of class, so class for a meeting, and inside it's so here it's a kind of constructor, and we say here okay, so we declare a local variable for this classes meeting, and this variable self is in fact the same as this. So first time, so I don't know if you are well skilled for JavaScript, but really for myself, when I discover this language, and when I see in a lot of examples we can find on the net, this kind of line, okay, we can find things like var self equal this, or var that equal this. I was thinking, what is this horrible language? What is the meaning? So, really, here, self will be the same as this, but with no side effect linked with the scope. So, this rule, that means that when you need to use this instance of this class, self variable is better than this. So this rule is a protection against some issues due to the fact that in JavaScript this depends on the scope. It can be not the object instance of the method we run. And it occurs notably in case of method called as a callback. So imagine this example. So we have got one method. So this R, okay, R we can use it. So it's just to declare a kind of public method for one class. So here is a public method underscore A, and this method in fact has got an internal method inside, and the core of the method is calling a method from another classes. So here we are asking library.ics protocol to call this get URL to load method, and when this URL to load method is finished, probably this callback, this internal method B, will be called. And when this internal method B will be called, in that case, this data, this contain not, it is not scope of this object, but scope is this will be a value, will be this object in fact, library.ics protocol. So if I repeat again, this R declare in fact this use is correct. For here use is correct, and declare a kind of public method for for one class, okay, method A. And inside method R we declare a callback, which is an internal method, and this line here is not correct because as this method, internal method B, is called by, in fact, as a callback of this method get URL to load, result will be that this will be in fact the library.ics protocol value, because scope is coming from library.ics protocol. So this line, in fact, if you write this line, it will not work as what was expected, just because inside library.ics protocol there is no method retrieve device management. This method retrieve device management is inside the class of this where method A is declared, and not inside library.ics protocol. So this line is wrong, and this one will be run fine, because here scope of this variable self, which is a local variable, is not a keyword of JavaScript, and self is still in fact the same value of this value, and will not be changed by this value here, library.ics. So you can if you not already meet these kind of things, you can try by yourself using just a little example, and you will see that this line really is not working because scope has been changed and self is better. So maybe we can have a look to code. So after, I agree that you have to try by yourself in order to well understand, using also OTC Web on the debugger, the web inspector, and you will see. But if you take one class, for example, so you see we talk about classes even if it's a kind of extra. It's not really classes from JavaScript point of view anyway. It works as it was classes. So we have communication manager class, and we have some classes for conversation context. And if I have a look to communication manager, so at the very beginning declaration of this classes, we have this line. So we declare the self method. And after that, we can see that for example, I don't know if I will try to immediately provide you an example, but maybe using answer call. I think inside answer call method, we have got some, we have got some internal classes, maybe running as a callback. So maybe we can have a look. So you see, in fact, here it is a declaration of a public method of the classes communication method, communication manager classes. So communication manager classes has got a public method, this one, and it is the way we declare, in fact, this public method. You can note that we repeat, in fact, its name. It is for logs information. So here it is, in fact, the public name of the method, and here it is really its name, which will be used in case we want to display a stack traces. So use it as it, and if you need to add some public method, here is the way. Okay, so this dot the method name, function, and again the method name. And by this way, you will not fail into the same issue as we meet on our side. After that, you can see that we are using the self variable, saying that this self variable is in fact the instance of the classes communication manager. And if we are inside a callback, the scope is not disturbed. Maybe we have got callback somewhere. For example, this one, function, so internal function. So here is an internal function, and inside this internal function, maybe there is a self if we need. For example, in case of catch, we need to put the when we dispatch the error, we need to use the value this, but this one can be disturbed because we are inside an internal function, or which can be used as a fallback. So we use this self attribute. So take care about this, and by this way you have in mind this story, and you will better understand why you find this self value somewhere. So For example, here, clearly it is a timeout, it is something, the scope. If I put this instead of self, it will not work. Okay? So, just keep in mind. After that, try catch. So, we already talked together about this fact. So, there is no compiler protection. That means that really take care to run yourself all the new added lines, because an exception can be detected only during runtime, because there is no compiler. So, it's easy to say, and really we try to apply this rule, but I agree that maybe sometimes not maybe at 100%, but really it's a really good things to you add one line with if statement on the else statement. The else is maybe in case of error. Try when you develop new part of code to run by yourself using Web Inspector to see if all is okay. Because maybe the direct line will be okay, and maybe if in one case it's very easy, as there is no compiler, to do a mistake somewhere. You with uppercase or lowercase, and you don't understand why it's not working, but it's just because, in fact, you are asking for a variable which is not existing, and the compiler does not detect because there is no compiler. So it's important to try by yourself all the new added lines. And in order to add robustness and be able to understand easily what is wrong, each time for each function put a try-catch block. That means that in case, for example, here I do a mistake and I don't put user type, but I forget the uppercase T, for example. So that means that in fact this value will be undefined, and it can drive some side effect, it can drive some exception, and in that case you will obtain the exception very near where is the problem, and it will be the best thing in order to understand. Moreover, the catchy error contain most of time a very clear message saying this variable is undefined, for example, or no main of case are this kind of thing because of an error of lowercase of a variable or thing like that. Something is undefined, and if you have got some try-catch block for each function, it will be easy for you to understand what is wrong and to fix the problem. So, in case of exception, an event using this method dispatch error, an event is sent, and moreover, a log traces is put into our log file with explicit exception description, with the stack traces, and with a lot of things using this error constructor and using this dispatch error. So it's a big protection in order to have got more robustness inside our binary, and in order to be able to quickly understand what was wrong when there is an issue. Okay, so again, in order to be able to detect and understand what is wrong when there is an issue, so we are using a log file. on middleware, as middleware is the front end, it provides a set of services in order to interact with OpenTouch. So it's very important to know what happened into the system, what was requested by OTC client, what is the result, and what are the notifications, what are the events coming from middleware. So you can imagine that the technical support people are reading middleware logs, and it's important for them to understand what happened. So using some main principles, he will be able to understand, okay, at this moment, the user was scheduling a meeting, or the user was asking for make a call, things like that. And they can understand maybe the scenario which failed. So it's important. So as a result, all entry points of middleware API are logged, put in log file in info mode, and all events sent by middleware are also logged in log file in info mode. And moreover, an explicit syntax must be used for helping log analysis. It's not because it is a meeting manager, or meeting manager is saying that it is an API which is called for him. And I mean, even if it is whatever the manager which is called, whatever which manager is called, it is the same way to say an API is called, and I will run it, and I will send an event. Whatever the managers, whatever the services, it will be the same same behavior, same syntax also. So, and remember that there is also a tool in order to parse inside log, and it is based on a specific syntax, so we have to apply this syntax and keep this syntax, continue to use this syntax. So, the syntax for an API entry point. So, here is an API entry point. So, as we saw before, just before, this dot take call means it is a public method of, in fact, communication manager. Okay, take call is repeat here just in order to have a clear tag traces in case of catch exception. And here is the first, in fact, mainly the first line is we log in info mode that there is an API which is called. So this line com-mg underscore API will be detected by automatic parser, and com-mg is indicating that it is for communication module. Underscore API is a very important keyword for automatic parser, so it means it is an API entry point. And after take call, it is the name of the API, and logger.string.json is it's always the same way in order to log all entry parameters, and with a good JSON structure, so with correct index. And keep in mind also that all API, so unfortunately it's not really the case, because at the beginning of the project we developed the first API with not only one parameters in entry, a JSON one on a request ID, but it is a rule. An API entry point must take only two parameters. The first one are really the efficient parameters we need to run this method. On request ID is just as we will answer using an event, because API are running in an asynchronous way. So this request ID, it will be repeated inside the event, which maybe is indicating that it's okay or not. So inside all API entry point, only two parameters, one JSON object on the request ID. And the most advantage of this JSON object is that when we need to add a new parameter, because you are developing a new feature, but using the same API, you don't break, in fact, the API signature. You just add another parameters inside this JSON object. So keep this in mind. For an API, important, only one JSON object. And even if you are adding a new API which needs just one parameter, just I don't know, a phone number, and that's all. And there is no need no need to have a second parameter. So don't do the mistake to say, okay, I will not put a JSON object, but I just say phone number, so as a string, on the request ID. It will be a mistake to do that, because it's better to really say, okay, I will say the first parameter will continue to be a JSON object, and inside this JSON object, I put only one attribute, which will be the phone number or I don't know what else. Because at the moment, and maybe 1 year or 2 years later, you need to add a new attribute. And not only the phone number, but maybe a prefix or things like that. And if you have put as first parameter the JSON object, you will not have to break your API signature. You will just improve it, and you have just to increase, in fact, the JSON description, and it's okay. So all without breaking the API, ODT clients which don't take your will continue to run, even if they don't take into account your new change. They will continue to work as previously. So what to say also? Okay, so we log also all the parameters, and you can see here there is a first line which in fact allow us to store all this information into this OBJ parameter. So here, for example, we are logging JSON OBJ directly. But again, if inside this method we have some fallback or internal functions, the parameters can be not accessible, not available. And by this way, we continue to store this parameter. So at the beginning of the API function, these OBJ parameters allow to copy all parameters we have received in order to store it for later use. So it's typical use when we want to display original parameters into a function or a callback. Maybe we can have a look to an example. I think using the same method of communication manager, for example. So answer call. So bad example, because here we have three parameters and not the JSON one. So maybe on call I have a new version which is take call. You can Claude qui appelle. Sorry. So maybe I can have a look. I think at the moment I put the same method but in a new way, which is take call. You see? So just have a look. Okay. So I think this one in fact is not well used, but yeah, it should be the correct signature of an API. Okay, with a JSON object. And you can imagine that in Communication Manager, one of the first methods done was make call, take call, things like that. If we have a look to blind transfer method, for example, okay, so it was not the first method built. So here, its signature is correct. It is a JSON object, and you can see here a description of the JSON object, and you can see that there are a lot of parameters. But if I need to add a new one, I don't break the API, and I can do my job even if OTC client don't do any change. Using my new middleware, OTC client will be able to continue to run. He will not use my new parameters put inside my JSON object. Its value will be undefined. Anyway, its services will continue to be available. So here, we take Vincent, you see here, there is some in the PowerPoint we say get function parameters without any parameters in order to collect in fact this value.
Yeah.
Okay. And inside this example we take the same function, but here we put
it is a keyword.
Okay. So maybe it is result will be the same here if we don't put any argument or
in fact argument is a keyword which means give me information about the way the current method has been called, and you have one property which is the name of the method. The calling is the name of the method which called this one.
Okay, so maybe
this is the name of the argument is about blind transfer. So calling is a blind transfer.
Okay.
So yes, if you hadn't put the parameter, the get function parameter has been defined to allow to not put this parameter, but it is possible to put this parameter because you can call this get function parameter somewhere in the code, not
okay. So
but you call it
later.
For example,
it's not
catch or something like that.
It's not mandatory. Anyway, if I take this line and I put it maybe somewhere at another place.
Not all the line, just logger dot
So, okay. So, here is one example where we store, in fact, the information about what was called. So, including, in fact, what is the API call, what are the parameters, and if inside a callback we have got an issue, maybe a catch, so we are here inside an internal callback, we have a try-catch, so it's not a good example here. Here we should have the value.
Yeah.
So maybe we have got somewhere. Yes. Here, for example. Here it's okay. No. So
you
probably yes. Yeah, it's. I was here. Okay. So here it's not. So idea here is to say, okay, the API called was blind transfer, and we collect here what are the calling parameters. But we don't need to pass an argument here because we are, if I go upside, no, we are inside the callback. So we should put in argument this value in order to obtain the parameters here. Here there is an error. There is a way where we...
Here
it's okay. So the idea is just to say, here we collect the object obj, JSON obj parameters, and we store it. Once these objects are, their value are stored, in case we obtain an error or thing like that, we are able to say, okay, we have got an error because we were performing this API with these entry parameters. And here, if I erase this value, I will obtain, in fact, the entry parameters, this one. So they are not the good one. So that is the idea. So result here is the correct result. And if I don't put this object, this value, I will obtain the entry parameters coming from the internal function.
And also, you have to note that we save the parameter with a copy, which means we save the parameter in the state they were when the API has been called, because you can see the JSON. So you can see this parameter JSON object. So there we save it, and you can see later in the code it is called there. So here it is a call ID, so probably it won't be changed, but it could be. For example, if you have a bug in a get conversation context, maybe the bug can change the value. And then we trace, if we trace the current value instead of the called one, well, we don't have the expected log. So that's why we do a save with a copy of the parameter.
But clearly, this method is not the best example, with some parts which are not fully well managed. In fact, one another big method is this one, create call. Inside this one, we have a lot of callback on internal function, and I don't know. So here we store initial parameters. So again, here it is, there are a lot of parameters, and it's a mistake. Anyway, it is not really this one, the internal method. It's really not really the API method. The API methods are the API. It is an internal method, this one. I think it's okay. So it's the internal method. The really API is create audio call for them. On here we have got a JSON object. Sorry. So a JSON object is this one with its description. But we don't store the value. We don't store the value. So it's okay if we don't have any callback here. No, we don't have. So it's okay. Or maybe inside its internal method, because this one is calling, in fact, at the end, I think it's calling the internal one. On the internal one, here's call. Where is it? Here we stock the parameters, we store the parameters, or maybe we are using it, yes, here we are using it inside the callback. So, that can, the idea is to explain you what are the meaning of this thing, and so in case you need to develop a new API or a new function, you can use this, it will be a very powerful help in case of issue. So no more to say about this thing. So last slide about the main principle. So a attack this time for the event. So remember that it's very important to log the entry point, so the API which are called, and after, as a result, to log all the events with a correct syntax, on the same syntax all the time. So here is, in fact, an example. We log an event coming from Communication Manager. Okay. So how it is done. So here it is a log itself, and here it is the sending event itself. So we first log, we are sending an event, and we send the event. So communication manager underscore event. So this keyword will be detected by automatic log parser. So communication manager, so it's for communication manager module. Underscore event, it is an event, and it is this underscore event which will be detected by automatic parser. On the event itself, the event name. Okay. The logger string define JSON, so this line, which log the entire event content. So here we dispatch the event, this one, and its content is this one. On this line, logger.string define JSON allow us to log the entire content of the event. So still the same syntax. And as event is part of API of middleware, it is important also to apply a clear and common and consistent naming rule for events. So we already see, but in fact there are some principles. So the on first first letters on, it's indicating that it is an event. Meeting manager, it is an event from the meeting manager. On meeting loaded, identify in fact the event from meeting manager. What is the event coming from meeting manager? So it is always the same. For system manager, we will have on system manager underscore the event name. Same thing for participant manager. Same thing for sharing manager. On sharing manager, it is an event coming from sharing manager. After that, what is the event session open coming from session manager? All the same. So for ourselves, that means that it helps us to understand what happens also in the system, even if we are not an expert of sharing manager, for example. And after, just a little description that I gave the end to Vincent.
So, just a little slide to explain what we have coded for the modularity of the middleware. So nowadays, I'm not sure you will have any problem about this, because all the client, all the UI which use UI which use the middleware are well defined and have already define the managers they use. So here the slide is to explain what is done when we initialize the services, the manager. So in what we have already seen last week, we have seen that each client can define the manager it will use. So
in fact, we have got some core managers, that are the minimum we need, but after some of them can be optional.
Yeah. So we have seen that here each client makes an instance, a singleton of the OTC object, which represents the entry point of the middleware, and it also put a parameter which is called JSON object here, and it puts some parameter. So one of these parameter is manager to start. So it put the manager, the real manager, the we want to start, want to use. So
that means that sharing manager here is not part of core of middleware. In fact, middleware, in order to start, needs to start a minimum of managers, and we allow, in fact, the build of a new OTC client, which is maybe not using sharing manager, which is maybe not using presentation manager, because he don't need. He maybe just he just need history manager, because his job is just to display comlog, things like that. So sharing manager he don't mind, so he doesn't need to start it. But here we are looking for OTCPC. So OTCPC needs sharing manager, presentation manager, supervision manager. So he needs to indicate that he needs to start this manager explicitly.
And here you can see that directory communication, messaging, routing, meeting, and history manager are in common. This is because there are mandatory services, mandatory manager, so they are instantiated by default by middleware. That's why they are there only for information. So here we have the manager which are not mandatory, optional. So if I put some comment about it, they won't be started, but instead you will have a mock. This is to allow some traces if the UI does not ask the middleware to start the real instance of the manager. If the UI use the manager, even if it hadn't asked for the real initialization of the service, so we will have a trace in log. You will have probably a catch about the method which is not defined in the mock, but you will have at the beginning of the start of the middleware, you will have a logs which tell that the manager is a mock. So you won't be surprised after when the UI will call the method to have an exception. So this is the main goal of the mock manager. So as we have said, nowadays every client have already defined their manager to start, so it won't change. So probably you won't have this kind of issue. But it's important to know that. So every it's inside the code. When the manager is really defined, we have a boolean which said it is okay or not, and it's allow to trace what's happened exactly. So
sometimes there is some interaction between managers, and there is some part of code where one manager needs to call an API of another. Maybe it's an external API or even an internal one. So he needs the services provided by another manager. And before, there is a way in order to check if this manager is present, because
it's present and ready to do the job.
Because as this the co-lead manager can be optional, so the manager who needs a service can check before if he is running as a mock or if he is really instantiated. Yeah. So there is some part of code where we are checking, I think.
So it is what is described there. The system manager, we have a set manager already. Every manager call this method to say, okay, I'm ready to work. And when all the manager have said they are ready, a common application ready event is sent, and then the UI know it can call the all the manager which are ready to work. So, that's
Well, that's
That's
all
all for the coding.
for this part. Maybe just one example. I think inside communication manager. I will try to show you one example where we check if this manager is a mock or not before calling an internal method. Just give me a little time. Maybe this one. So maybe I will jump between different methods in order to find it. But I should associate, okay, maybe this one. Okay, so as I explained you just before, I am searching in fact this method. This method is called by self dot. That means that self is instead of this keyword, but its definition is done using this dot. So I am searching for this dot, the method name. Okay, so I obtain this method, and here is, in fact, we are inside Communication Manager, and at the moment, Communication Manager needs some information coming from Routing Manager. On here, in fact, it's checking using what Vincent explained, using if Routing Manager is accessible or not.
Yeah.
So if this boolean is set, probably Routing Manager sends the ready event to System Manager, and then System Manager stores information that Routing Manager is not a mock, but ready activated, ready instantiated, and then we can continue in order to, in fact, ask Routing Manager this method. So here, Communication Manager needs a method from Routing Manager, and before asking this method to Routing Manager, in fact, it checked before if Routing Manager in the OTC client in which we are embedded is used or not. Maybe I am inside a POC client which has just which is just running the essential core of managers inside middleware, and maybe Routing Manager is not needed. But Communication Manager, it is the same code, and he has to check if Routing Manager is instantiated or not. Anyway, if I apply, if I don't check, so it's better to check. But as there is always at least a mock for Routing Manager, if I call this method on the mock, it will just say, okay, this Routing Manager, which is a mock, does not have this method. Maybe it will...
You will have an undefined method, so you have the try catch, which you will have an exception.
We will have an exception,
which will define get personal computer mode is not.
So we will go here.
Yeah.
And we will return false.
As you will see,
so return
the method
will be
is not defined. You will have this manager already have this method, so you will go at the beginning of the log, and you will see, oh, it is a mock,
so it is normal that we have got this exception.
Yeah.
But anyway, in case he is not here, we return false. In case we don't check, we will have an exception, and result of this exception will be also false. So
And inside the mock, we have an init method, which is already present in every manager. So it allows us to call the init, and the init is defined. So here in Communication Manager, we can see some kind of things are done at the initialization of the manager. So even if it is a mock, the init method is defined, and then we don't have to change so much the code of the OTC entry point to know is the manager is a mock or not. So if it is not a mock, I can call the init of the manager, and if it is a mock, I should forget. I should not call the init. So inside the mock, we have put generic init method. So it is called even if it is a mock.
In order to avoid exception at the beginning because of this kind of error. So that's all for this part. Just a little part, but with some information which can help you in your daily job for understanding the keyword take care to the keyword this. If you use it inside a callback, you can be sure that it will not be working fine.
Yes, it won't be the right object which will be in the context. The context evolves in the time.
And try-catch block are very important. At the beginning, there is a lack of this try-catch block. And it was very difficult to understand just using logs what happens, why it's not working, and it's a very good practice. We can recommend you. So maybe we what time? We will start. We suggest a break, and after we will talk about production. So production of middleware.
Okay.
As you want. We start. We can stop here and start only this afternoon as you want. Maybe it's better to.
Okay, it's up to you.
Maybe a break of 5 or 10 minutes as you want. Is it possible?
Yes, it's possible.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Okay.
Okay. Let's go. See you.
Okay, thanks.
На локальном, извини, на локальном битбаке.